So today we're going to be making chicken and biscuits. So and we're also going to have the bacon gravy as well. We're going to be making those cheddar biscuits from scratch using Parmesan. You can put some cheddar in there if you want to. Also, we're going to be making the gravy from scratch. I'm going to show you a quick way to make the gravy. Very simple, very straightforward. We're going to have fresh chicken stock on hand, but you've seen me make chicken stock from countless of times, so you can do that yourself if you want to, or you can buy your own. In addition, we're going to be doing the chicken itself, so we're going to get the spices, we're going to get into buttermilk. I was going to air fry it, but we're going to deep fry it today. So we're going to be doing some nice southern fried chicken with all the beautiful spices and flavors. So 3 beautiful elements we're going to have for this dish. So hope you folks are going to enjoy it. Right, okay, let's get the chicken out. So for this, we're using about roughly 8 pieces or 8 portions of chicken. So either thighs or drumsticks, whichever you prefer. We're going to have a mix and match of it, so which will be fine. Right, so I got some drummers and some thighs. Also got some more thighs and drummers as well. We're going to prep these up now. So you can't cut through the chicken leg. You're cutting in the wrong place. So you want to find where the joint moves and then cut through it. You should, hopefully. This is where I'm going to have issues. Where is it? Where is it? I think it's about here, to be honest with you. Yeah, there it is. And you can cut through a nice clean cut. So you shouldn't be struggling with it. If it is, reposition your knife properly. Right, I'm taking the skins off these. If you want to leave them on, leave them on. That's optional, up to you. Whether you want to leave it on or off. I'm taking it off. So we've got the chicken. We're going to top this up with 600 ml or 20 fluid ounces of buttermilk. And then we're going to add our spices to it. Let me go through the spices. So we're going to need 2 pinches of natural sea salt. We're also going to need 1 teaspoon of dried basil, 1 teaspoon of dried oregano, 1 teaspoon of black pepper. We want 1 teaspoon of ground mustard, 6 teaspoons of paprika. We also want 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, 2 teaspoons of onion powder, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. There you go. Now, technically, it's supposed to be 1 teaspoon of onion powder, but it's okay. And then just 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. That's it. Make sure that's all nicely mixed up. I'm just going to let that marinate down for about an hour or 2. If you can do this overnight, that'll be perfect. Right, let's get these biscuits done. So I'm going to double the mix so we've got plenty to make. We're going to need 450 grams of self-raising flour. If you haven't got self-raising flour, you can use plain flour and then just add a teaspoon of baking powder. So that's an alternative there. So it's 450 grams or 2 cups plus 4/5 of a cup. And then we want 80 grams of palm, which is 2.8 ounces. We also want 150 grams of unsalted butter, which is 2/3 of a cup. And we also want 150 ml of milk, which is like 5 fluid ounces. And then we're going to need 1 egg and a good 2 pinches of salt as well in there for the biscuits itself. So we'll get that out. We'll get that weighed out and we can start making it. 450. Crazy souls. We want 80 grams of palm, and also we want the butter in there as well. Right, so we've got the palm in there, got the butter. Basically, we're just rubbing the butter into the flour and the palm using our thumb and index finger. So we're just going to rub this into the flour. Once it's fully incorporated, then we're going to add the wet ingredients. That's all incorporated nicely now. We're going to add ourselves 2 eggs. And we want 150 ml of milk, which is 5 fluid ounces. So we'll measure that out now. Right, so this is all bound together. We're not going to roll this out and cut it yet. We're going to roll it out and fold it. Why fold it? Okay. The reason why we want to fold it is because we want to get some layers into it. Getting layers into it will add that nice, beautiful flakiness to it. So, I don't need to be so specific with this. I'm going to fold it. A little bit like laminating, but this is like kind of a very, very quick way of doing it. That over. I'll do 1 more fold, and that'll be it. And then we're going to let it rest for 20 minutes, and then we're going to cut them out. Lightly dust that with flour. Cling it up in the fridge. Ready to go. I'm going to let that rest for about 20 minutes. Right, chat, we're going to go for quite big biscuits. It's roughly about 11 centimeters. Which is about, is it 4 inches or 3 inches? Something like that. If you want to go smaller or bigger, entirely up to you. Just going to give this a nice little roll. And we're looking for about roughly 2 centimeters thickness. So roughly about here is what we're looking for. And what we're going to do, grab your ring, dip it in the flour. Why? Because it'll stop it from sticking. And what you want to do is just give it a little push and turn. And it should pop out nice and smooth. Also, we might want to preheat the oven. Doesn't take long, takes about a minute. So let's open this up. We need function 2. We don't want air fryer. We want bake. Function 2, 1 and 2. They're already there. Good. Let's start this up. 27 minutes. 2 minutes to preheat. That sounds good to me. And then we're going to pop them in. They would take about 20 to 25 minutes. They're not going to take too long. So a little bit of egg wash, and then we're going to finish them off with a little bit of parm grated over the top. Right. So these are good to go. I guess we're going to start getting the bacon ready, actually. I'm going to preheat the other oven. So let's have a look. So I'm preheat the other oven to 350 Celsius or wait, sorry, that's too hot. Preheat the oven to 180 Celsius or 350 Fahrenheit for the bacon. And we're only going to have 2 rashers of bacon. We're going to need to go too crazy with this. While we're waiting, we can actually get the coating for the chicken. So we need 100 grams of flour and 100 grams of cornstarch or corn flour. So pretty much that will be 1.5 cup and 1 tablespoon for flour, and 3/4 of a cup and 1 tablespoon for the cornstarch. So let's get that out, and then we're going to add all the spices to it as well. Oh yeah, now we're talking. Oh my god, look at that! Look at that! Oh, it's a little gem. I'm very happy with these, chat. I'm extremely happy with these. We need to get the pan on for the chicken, the gravy. Put this on a low heat. We're going to have, how much butter do we want for this gravy? So we want about 50 grams of flour, 40 grams of butter. So 50 grams is going to be about 1/2 cup of flour, and 40 grams of butter is 1.4 ounces. We're also going to have about 600 ml of chicken stock, which is 20 fluid ounces. So we're going to make the roux, melt the butter, add the flour, make the roux, cook it out for about a minute or so. And then we're pretty much going to add the chicken stock little by little. And then once we've got a right consistency, we're going to add the Marmite and obviously chop up the bacon, add the bacon, and then let that cook down slow and low for roughly about an hour or so. I'm not going to wait, I'm doing it by eye, but just for like weight measurements, 40 grams of flour should be sufficient enough. So flour's in. So that's what you're looking for, a nice like kind of sandy roux. So that's what you're looking for. Don't want any more than that. And we're just going to let that cook out for roughly a minute, just to cook out that roux. While we're waiting for that, we can get the fresh chicken stock out of the fridge. Alrighty, so I'm going to add the chicken stock little by little. We can turn this up to a little bit more of a higher heat. You want to add it little by little. You don't want to add all at once, otherwise you're going to end up with a very lumpy mix. So just little by little to begin with. And basically mix that round. Once you've got no more liquid, then keep adding the chicken stock. Right, we need to chop up that bacon and add a little touch of Marmite. So we're going to need about roughly 1 or 2 teaspoons of Marmite. Unfortunately, I think I've only got 1 teaspoon left. So I just have to use with whatever I got. So just dice this up. This is going to go straight in the gravy. And we're going to put that at the back of the stove, just on a low heat, just to kind of tick over slow and low for roughly about an hour. So put this on a low heat, move this at the back, and just keep an eye on it. That's all we need to do. Right, let's get the, we need to get the oil on, ready for the chicken so we can start cooking the chicken off. So there's the gravy. Gravy's really simple, easy to make. Right, okay, so. Right, so that's going to heat up nicely. If you want temperature-wise, 180 Celsius or 350 Fahrenheit is what we're going to be aiming for. So we've got our chicken and our spiced flour mix as well. I know it's a little bit bright. We're just going to dip in our chicken from the buttermilk to the flour mix, back to the buttermilk, to the flour mix, and then straight into the oil once it's nice and hot. I'm going to do a dip test. Oh baby, look at those, they're looking great already. Let that oil cool down. Do not touch that oil. Do not move it, just leave it alone for about a couple of hours until it's really cooled down, and then you can strain it, pass it, and reuse it again.
allow that to chill its boots. Right, let's get the oven on. Oven doesn't take long to heat up, which is great. So. So oven fried chicken, Parmesan biscuits, and bacon gravy. So the biscuits we pretty much made with 450 grams of self-raising flour, which is 2 4/5 of a cup. We also had 80 grams of Parmesan, which is 2.8 ounces, and 150 grams of butter, which is 2/3 of a cup. Broke the butter down. Then we pretty much, once that's all incorporated, then we pretty much added 2 eggs and 150 milk, which is 5 fluid ounces. So mix that up into a nice dough. Then we folded it like a book about 6 to 7 times. Let it rest in the fridge for 20 minutes. Took it out, rolled it out. Now you don't have to go as crazy big as I did with the ring cutter. If you want to go for a smaller one, you can do, and you'll probably get more out of it anyway. But dip the ring in the flour to stop it sticking, and then cut them out. You want like roughly 2 centimeter thickness. Onto a baking tray. You want to preheat the oven to 180 Celsius, 350 Fahrenheit, and you pretty much want to brush them with egg wash and then grated with Parmesan over the top, and then in the oven for about 20 to 25 minutes, so until nice golden brown, delicious. As for the bacon gravy, really simple, very straightforward. Pretty much using 40 grams of butter, which is 1.4 ounces, and then 50 grams of flour, which is 1/3 of a cup. To make a roux, cook it out for a couple of minutes on a medium heat. Then start slowly adding the chicken stock, which was about roughly 600 ml, which is 20 fluid ounces. We added a teaspoon of Marmite to it, and then obviously we cooked down some bacon for about 10 to 12 minutes till crispy, chopped it up, chucked that in the gravy, and then just put that on a low heat for about an hour. Taste it and season it afterwards if you need to. And then for the fried chicken, we had pretty much soaked the chicken in buttermilk. We had 2 pinches of salt, 1 teaspoon of dry basil, 1 teaspoon of dried oregano, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, 1 teaspoon of ground mustard powder, 6 teaspoons of paprika, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of ground ginger, 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, and also that's it. That is it. So all those spices we put in there. We let it marinate for about 2 to 3 hours. Then we made the flour mix, the same exact amount of spices, and we used about 150 grams of flour and 150 grams of cornstarch, and I'll work that out on the recipe later on. I did use 100 and then topped it up. So we did the buttermilk. So we heated up some oil, 1,500 ml, which is 50 fluid ounces of peanut oil on a medium heat. If you've got a fryer, it would be much more safer and easier because you've got a thermostat to stop and start to keep it at that temperature. So we put the chicken in the buttermilk, into the flour mix, buttermilk, flour mix, and then into the hot oil. Nice and gently. Careful for any splashbacks. Be careful you don't burn yourself. And we're cooking them for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then I gave them a little bit longer because they weren't quite up to temperature. Put them in the oven for about roughly 15 more minutes on 180 Celsius, 350 Fahrenheit on a little rack or cooling tray in the oven. And that's pretty much it. Oh boy. Chat. This is where it gets messy. Crunchy chicken. Oh my god. Oh my god. That gravy. It's so rich. That beautiful. That beautiful tear apart. Fluffy biscuit. Oh my goodness me. Have a lovely weekend and safe and fantastic weekend. And I'll catch you all on Monday. Anyway, chat, I'm off for now. Bye for now, my friends. Take care.